Hey guys, it is Sunday, February the 12th of 2023, and I want to go over the energy sector. So without any further delay, let's get into it. We first start off with our dinosaur, which is a uranium. I'm looking at UX2. And we're still in this AD phase, accumulation and distribution phase. So you put a little trend line right here, put a trend line down here. You can see that's going back and forth, and now, got a nice little pop at 50 and change, just kind of hovering around $50. You can see the MACD is just kind of just stagnant, nothing really happening. This is a weekly, so it's looks like it sold off a little bit. If we look at the daily, I gotta put my Kanashi because it gets a little price action is like a dinosaur. Let's get this over here. So you can see got this nice little pop. It was nice buy, and now it's pulling back. But you still got this trend line, and hopefully she'll hold at least 49.70. If not, it goes back to sell. But you see that it's just chop mode, just accumulation, distribution, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So not really anything. You can see the MACD got negative, but probably doesn't even mean anything because nothing's really happening. There's no really buyers. There's not really big sellers, no big buyers. It's just chop fest. So nothing exciting here. We'll go to our another clips and see the other instruments. Okay, so this is where the I guess there's more excitement and action here. First off, we'll start off with our crude CL. You can see that this has been support, that point of control, that's 73.11. You got the 200 SMA right there. You got this cloud as support, and you can see that the MACD looks like it wants to turn positive, and we already have it positive on the weekly and on the daily. So that's green. Last week's volume was positive. It's kind of mixed, during the days, but there was just one negative day, which was the 9th, and everything else has been green. But this is good. This is good. We've based off on the market sentiment. It looks like now the sentiment is getting positive. The only problem I have that we're kind of in the clouds. It's going to get a little wonky and wild, but at least you're kind of above the midpoint on this linear regression channel. So targets to the upside would be 81.27. If we could take that out, the next one will be 82, 81. You could say 81.82. You can see that we've just been struggling here in this cloud. But once we get out of here, maybe test this and deal with this linear regression channel and push up, that's going to be great. You can see the value area low right here, 83. If we could go above there, that'd be good. But looks like things are maybe about to shift here. So we'll see how that's going to play out. And you can see that it's been finding support here at 70. Now it looks like it's kind of positive. At least if we could hold 77.56, that's good. Because on the day midpoint, you're positive. You're positive on the weekly. So we could at least hold at 76.83. That's good. And take out and close above 80. That would be good. We're above here. So that's good. So I guess target would be 85. And 82, 82.66. And once we close above that, then things going to be looking really good. You can see that we've been holding the 200 SMA. It's been negative, but there's like some kind of divergence, and we're in a squeeze play. It looks like it's green, it's positive, but price action for the last 2 weeks got really negative again. And you're in this range of 70.25 all the way to 83.34. So it's just a tug of war of back and forth. Once we close above the 20, have like a breakout and, maybe retest this or maybe just get in, when it breaks out of there. Target would be that 93 up there. You got the 50 SMA on the weekly. And on the daily, you can see that we have a ninth Tom DeMark candle. And So far looking good, but you know, in chop mode, we just got to take out that 83. That's the key. We're holding this linear regression channel. We're above the midpoint, so that's good. So, you know, it kind of went up like that. And if this holds, we're probably going to go up here. But on the weekly, we're chopping around here, trying to regain this, you know, midpoint on the linear regression channel. But we could close above, like I said, 82, 83, then, you know, we're going to have to deal with this linear regression channel. But if we could close above, 805 could be possible. And on the daily, you can see that you're chopping around this midpoint and now you're above it. But this linear regression channel right here, that's like 83. So 83, 82, it's you can see that it's always just constant. There's something, you know, hindering it, holding it back. Then there's 86 and then there's 97. Natural gas. Wow. This is just crazy. Let's go to our simple glance chart. So this is where I've been saying this is the area to start accumulating. When you start hitting rock bottom like that at this linear regression channel, you know, if it does a little capitulation, it can, but you know, I don't really see like a hockey stick here yet. But you know, we could be early, you could be late, but this is where you want to dip your toes in. On the weekly next week, we should have a Tom D Mark knife candle. You can see that the MACD, I've been watching this like a hawk. It's already, you know, giving us the crossover signal. Last week's volume was very strong, positive. And at the daily, you can see that it's in this tight little range of 235. I've said that you got to keep an eye on this date. What is that? The 2/3 of February the 3rd. Keep an eye on that low. If we take out that low, then it could push low. But if that low holds, it's looking promising. You got the 20, you got the value area high of a 390. So if we were to do targets, I'll show you, you know, look at that. It just looks positive. Look at the last Thursday and Friday volume was very strong and green, although the market sentiment hasn't bottomed out yet, but I like to see that go like that. But what's promising, that looks good. Volume was nice. We're at a possible turning point, and we're at the bottom of the barrel, linear regression channel, right there. So I'm sure somebody's buying it here. Any support coming here? You got that 203 if it takes out that 234. In regards to resistance level, you got that you can say 261. And it looks like it wants to now close above that. So if it closes above 261, target will be 350. That's the midpoint from the monthly chart. And on the weekly, it's grayish. So that means it's dancing around that midpoint on the weekly. And right now we're above it. So that's good. So if we can stay above next week, above 256, that's very promising. Very promising. And on the daily, you can see that it's already 244. And that's already positive. So as long as we can stay above 256, that's looking good. And if we could close above 265, then in regards to big levels, you got that 295 and that midpoint. That will probably be the target to go 350 and then assess once we get there. Squeeze point chart, squeeze play chart, I call it. Negative. There's no moving averages down there. You know, I would like to see a yellow bar like this next week right here. That would be promising. Like I said, knife candle coming in next week. And looking at the daily, let's zoom in here. We got a PPS buy signal early, you know, risky if you want to go along, but you can see that that's the range right here, 265 all the way to the 234. And it's just, you know, consolidating right here. And a possible target 325 right there. Linear regression channel, like I said, on the monthly, very good. Hopefully that holds. And on the weekly, there is one that it's creeping up right here is 142. I mean, if something happens, which you never know, but that is another key level of support. And on the yearly, you can see that there is some support at 218 right here. We haven't kissed it yet because we're still holding 234. This would probably be an area if it capitulates. And if it capitulates here, 142 and 218. But let's see. It's looking good. We just need to go. It's at 386. We go up there, 348. And continue going higher. RBOB. Let's look at RBOB over here. Pretty much holding the point of control, which is at 227. And still kind of negative. This is positive. This is positive. It was looking promising, holding that 200, went up, and then it got a PPSL signal. So the trend is kind of up. I mean, midterm, you're kind of negative. You're below the cloud, but even down here, it's starting to get positive. Value real low is at 222. And point of control is at 250, and you at 249, just dancing around there and trying to hold that. You can see that market sentiment is getting positive, so that's good. You can see it from this move, A, B, C, and it pushed back. So if this is going to be a 1 and a 2, then the big one, 3, is working out. And you kiss this linear regression channel right here, so this was a good entry point to get in. You got a nice little pop, maybe testing this key level on the cloud. And now you got a PPS buy signal. So if we could close above 246, which is a mid point of control on the daily, target would be that 257, and maybe may want to retest at 271. Same thing here. Key level 247 is a point of control on the monthly, so it's gray. If it pulls back and it holds that could be a nice little area to get in. But we need to stay above 247. If we can stay above 247, we're going to test 271, and then eventually maybe get to 317 if it gets up there. Weekly is positive, daily is positive, same thing. Nothing's changed. 246, 247. Key levels to watch on RBOB. And you can see that it's just kind of getting positive and then wants to pull back. And it's just kind of undecided right here. And the same thing, the trend is up, but it's a little weak. You can see that you're in a squeeze play right now. And it started since January the 2nd. And it looks like the pressure is to the upside. Although the monthly showed it down. Now on the weekly, it looks like it wants to go up. And let's go over here. You can see PPS buy signal. The range is at 227 all the way to 271. And the trend is getting stronger, but it hasn't turned white yet. But it looks like maybe by next week, maybe we could, turn positive as long as we could get above 252. On the linear regression channels, you're kind of holding this channel on the monthly, so that's good. And the battle is, by looking at the chart, is right here. The midpoint of the linear regression channel of the bigger one. You can see that here is found resistance. It wants to test this one, which is 164, but it's fighting to stay, balanced here. So if we could regain 258, we're going to have to deal with this one going down. But if we could close, then the next will be that 350. And on the daily, you can see that even though it's pointing down, we're kind of oscillating back and forth between this important one and found support on this one right here. So if it finds support here, it may want to push higher and maybe, triangulate this area right here, which is at 281. Heating oil. Let's go look at heating oil. Key level 269. It bounced right off it. Negative sentiment. So the trend is down. Lowest point of control, which is at 329, and it's just hovering around 269, trying to hold it, but it's a little below it right now. If this doesn't hold and it's going to push lower, it may test that 200 and the value area low, which is at 213. You can see on the weekly, it is negative. Took out value area low of 314, so it's below that. And next support would be this like around 223, which kind of lines up with this little area right here. That's the 200 SMA down there. So it doesn't look good. Sentiment is negative. You can see on the daily it's kind of bottoming out, but it's still, almost like at that 50. And it's still negative, although volume was pretty strong not strong last week, but it was positive. But, I don't know. It's still not looking too good for me. Even though it found support right here, Tom DeMark knife candle, just kind of chopping around here. I would just kind of stay away from it for now. Let's look. Yeah. Below the value area, point of control. The midpoint. Get all these terms confused. And, if it's going to push higher, you need to take out 292, which is that right there. But the daily, it's kind of holding right here, that 286, and kind of going sideways. So you can see that it's gray, but negative on the weekly, which is that 299. It needs to close above that. And needs to close above, 299, 297 needs to close above that. Very negative. Took out the 20. Is there any moving averages below? Well, you got some support. You got the 200 and the 50. You see that the pressure's to the downside. And we were in this nice little range, and it looks like it cracked right through it, like a breakout to the downside. At 266. It may want to kiss that 223, which is a 200 SMA. But it's not looking good. Unless there's a little capitulation, and then it wants to bounce back up. And on the daily, you got a Tom DeMark knife, like I said. It got this nice little pop, but kind of like inside. So we'll see what next week will hold. Linear regression channels, kind of holding somewhere around here. Midpoint will be that 220. And the weekly failed the 297. If it pushes lower, a nice probably area to maybe dip your toes in will be that 216 right here. If it pushes down there, it'll be a nice little area. And if not, looking at the daily, you can see that it found support here, oscillated here, failed the point, midpoint on the linear regression channel, retested it again, bounced here, and found support at this linear regression channel, like a more fractal one. But if this is going to fail and push lower, then on the daily, there is the 220, which is somewhere right here. So the 220 is right there, kind of coincides with this one right here, and kind of coincides with the point of midpoint of the linear regression channel right there. So that's that. The last one, which is, Brent crude, same thing as, crude. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Let me just look at the simple glance chart. Yeah, it's the same thing. Point of control, that's 76. Right now it's at 86. So that's all support right here. And this is positive. This is positive. The market sentiment is looking positive. So that's good. Although it's kind of choppy here. You got PPS sell signal just kind of back and forth here. But on the daily, it looks like you're, 86? So you're hovering around point of control, which is at 85. And key level target would be 87. You're close. If we could go up there, close, test this, or not look back and push higher, then that's good. We just got to take out 89. And at least on the daily, short term, we're positive. If it's going to push higher, target would be 90. That's be the first target, value area low. And if it's going to push even higher, deal with the 50 on the weekly, which is at 98. And this linear regression channel, regards to price action, wherever it hits, one of those two. That would be, and if it's even stronger, then you got the cloud, which is 100. That's going to be a strong level. And if it could close above there, Your next target would be 106, which is the point of control on the weekly. And if it could push continue there, then, 117, value area high. And I think that's it. Well, hopefully you like this video. Those are my thoughts. I wanted to cover at least, gold and not gold. I wanted to cover all of the metals, but I wanted to do it separate. I did a separate video for gold because I incorporated now these charts, which is the midpoint and the squeeze play chart and the linear regression channels, just so you can kind of see, different things for support and resistance and key levels, which is the midpoint. Those are the bigger targets. It kind of show you, the sentiment. When it's positive, when it's weak, and the big picture in regards to key levels. I'm going to sign out. Hopefully you have a good day this Sunday, and let's look how this week, how price action is going to go, and then we'll take it from there.